Hello everyone on the interwebs, my name is Kotek and today we're going to be watching a Starcraft 2 Heart of the Storm replay. Some cool action. Apparently he's just going all French already. It's a French conversation right here as it seems right off the bat. In the bottom right corner of the map we have playing for Team Millennium, hailing from Belgium. It is Feast, quite a nice Protoss player, versus our pink, yeah, it's a pink Zerg in the upper left corner of the map playing for team, it's not EG, but apparently it shows Millennium. It is Stephano, quite an awesome Zerg player, as many of you know. Now the map is indeed Akilon Waste, and I'm actually pretty excited about this matchup. It should hopefully promise a great match from these two players. Like I said, the map is Akilon Way. It's quite the cool map for Zerg versus Protoss. There can be a lot of interesting battles, especially with Colossus placement. But doing a quick analysis of it, in front of the Natural, we have quite a bit of an area here. Not that big, but still kind of tough to defend, especially if you're Zerg, because you need to kind of spread the creep to actually, put spine crawlers here and actually have a nice defense. But in front of the base, you have quite the really nice area. You can just have a ton of battles. So many interesting battles in so many places, but you don't, against the Protoss, you don't want to fight in the middle of the map. Why is that? Because he can just have Colossus or any sort of support up here, and that can be a lot of trouble. The choke points really don't favor you at all. Now, in terms of third expansions, there are two choices actually. You can take this one, which is kind of a bit for the late game, because there are these rocks and these which are pretty much hard to kill early on, especially if you want to take an early third. So it's really not that worthy to just take as a third, especially if you're a Zerg. But you can also, in the mid game, you can try and just, ooh wow, some hate right there. Holy crap. Right there from that Mitsurai. Totally forgot about putting myself on base. I really need to remember that. But you can kind of just get these rocks up and just try and create a bit of a defense there right off the bat, or just not off the bat. We can try and push off some sort of attack, or at least delay it, and that can be really helpful, especially if you want to put some static defense before he actually comes in. We can also take this third expansion, it's also pretty good. Not that many special things about it. I mean, you can access it from the middle of the map, kind of a bit exposed compared to this base, but still it is pretty good. Now Stephano just chasing this probe with his Zerg, just trying to block any scouting off. That sound lag was just amazing. Oh my lord. Now we're seeing a pretty basic play from both players. Stephano went for a spawning pool first and then a hatchery, but still no gas. He's making the queen. He's making the second queen, already halfway there. Pretty good. 25 seconds he got by building the second queen up here, setting the first one down to the expansion. It is quite a nice trick actually. I haven't found that out. I found that out actually pretty recently, and I just said, what? How didn't I know that? But apparently it's a lot of thing a lot of people do. Now 2 more queens are being made for Stephano. Is it some defensive queens, or is it actually some creep spreading queens? I'm hoping for a creep spread queen, because I don't think there's going to be any aggression from Feast, at least not that early on. He has 1 gateway. He's not currently boosting out to warp gate research, and he's getting a robotics without having any other gateways. So a lot of aggression from the Protoss player, I really don't think so. The gas, he's not really that developed on the gas either. And he just finished his expansion. He just wants to chrono boost out some probes. But still, the Mothership Core and 1 Stalker should just be able to clean this up. No problem. Maybe Stephano just wants to scout. Even if that wasn't what he wanted to do, that is what he will get. Still only 1 robotics facility being made. Looking at the Stephano side of things, here we go. There's a creep spread starting to develop. And if this game actually lasts any time whatsoever, then the creep spread might actually reach the middle of the map, and that's actually a pretty awesome situation. 2 more gateways from Feast, and observe is that no, it's actually an immortal. He doesn't want to get any scouting whatsoever. He actually wants to do aggression early on, hence the immortal. well, he doesn't need the scouting. At least he thinks he doesn't need the scouting. But maybe that's gonna be troublesome, not actually having the information. You're just pulling that spine crawler up to the front. Okay, just right off the bat with those upgrades, going for the melee or the ranged attack upgrade. I'm not actually any sure about that. He's just getting 2 more gases in the main. It is going to be melee attacks. We're just going for those Zerglings. Will he actually go for this Mutas? Yeah, at least getting speed on those Zerglings. Well, nowhere being researched or mutated just yet. No, the Zerglings, are they going to move out doing anything whatsoever? They are actually moving to this expansion, maybe just to see what is going on at this base. I have to see what can I do. Oh, a War Prism. We might actually see either some reinforcement play. That's a lot of Zealots actually. Zerglings are not going to cut it. He needs either Roaches or Queens. Which one is he actually going to go for? I think since he has the Queens, he's going to try to go for the more Queens so far, just because that's all he has. This is actually looking pretty bad for Stephano. He doesn't have any sort of defense, just 4 spine crawlers, a couple of Queens, and that is it. Well, the Zealots are the troublesome part, but he just microed away from them, started surrounding the Stalker and the Immortals, but the Immortals just wiggled away, and the Zergs are just targeting these Zealots. However, the spine crawler is doing a lot of damage to those Zealots, but those Immortals, they are the tough part of that army, along with those Zealots. But still, I think that Stephano he doesn't. I was about to say he had a shot at defending this, but looking at the reinforcement Zerglings, he definitely does not have any sort of chance of defending this. There are just too many Zealots warping in. A couple more. He needed the Roaches or maybe even Mutas, but right now there's nothing he can actually do. He has a ton of gas. He could have been making Roaches this whole time, but I can't stress it enough. The Zerglings are not going to be enough. He did go for that pylon, but what's the point? He does have a second pylon here, and there's a War Prism in the battle, and that's just not gonna cut it. These drones are just microing or wiggling away. The Zerglings surround this arm. That's a lot of Zealots, and GG Stephano losing the game to a lot of Zealots and a bit of a Zealot immortal pressure at around the 9-minute mark, and it really threw Stephano off just because he didn't actually do any sort of tech besides Zerglings and a couple of Queens, and that just hurt him badly because that was just not the army to fight the kind of army that Beast actually had. That was actually a pretty interesting game of how Zerglings just don't cut it, and even if you don't forge fast expand, you can still do some pressure around the 9-minute mark, and that's actually a pretty interesting thing. Thank you all for watching, and I'll see you all next time.